Jury awards $2 million to detransitioner in first youth surgery malpractice win. A New York jury found psychologist Dr. Kenneth Einhorn and surgeon Dr. Simon H. Chin liable for failing to properly evaluate various mental health issues like depression, anorexia, ADHD, and possible body dysmorphia before approving the procedure. Varian's mother had opposed it, but relented after warnings of suicide risk. The jury awarded $1.6 million for pain and suffering plus $400,000 for medical costs. This marks the first known detransitioner victory in such a case, with at least 28 similar suits pending nationwide as discussions grow around youth gender treatments. Wow. Breaking news, the first transitioner case win in the country. Minor had her breast removed. Parents consented because doctors threatened that she would commit suicide if she was. So you've heard them say that. You've heard a lot of people say that. And that's called emotional blackmail. And that's not something you should be using in medicine or in medical settings. But that's exactly what that is. That's emotional blackmail. And they made it up, by the way, the suicide. It was all made up. Yeah, well, I need it. Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's show. We've got the world premiere voice impressionist with us. Mike McRae is here. Hey, Mike.
Jimmy, what's up, baby?
Mike, people going nuts for your Cash Patel impression.
Oh, yeah, I did. I did that. Yeah, I did on the radio this morning. I couldn't swear, but fuck it, I figured it out, dude.
Fucking sick. Did you see? Have you seen Randy and them guys?
Nah, man, they're on assignment somewhere.
I said Randy.
Have you seen them?
I see Randy.
They're missing, dude.
Okay, ready? Hey, this is Jimmy. Who's this?
Hey, Jimmy, this is J.D. Vance calling.
Oh, hello, Mr. Vice President. How are you? I hear you're on the road.
That's very true, Jimmy. I've been doing a lot of traveling, including a stop at none other than the Winter Olympics, or as I like to call them, the Gravity Games.
Oh, I see. Yes, you got boned pretty hard there by the you got booed pretty hard there by the crowd and boned.
Okay, Jimmy, we really just don't know what happened there at this point in time.
No, we do actually. You appeared on the Jumbotron, and then everybody booed.
Okay, hold on. Everybody made a boo-like sound, but we don't know that boo means the same thing in Europe as it does here. For all we know right now, boo could mean good in European.
Yeah, okay, European isn't a language?
Okay, well, they all speak different languages, yes, but they are similar, and when they all get together, like at the Olympics, Europeans, they all kind of average the languages out, like a blending. That's what I understand anyway. So bon and bien might just sort of combine into boo. So they saw me, and they could be yelling good for all we know.
There is absolutely no way you nor anyone else could possibly believe that.
Okay, Jimmy, for the sake of argument, maybe they were booing.
They were.
We don't know that, but if they were, let's keep in mind, I was on the Jumbotron with my wife, Usha, who is very famously pregnant right now. And considering how low the birth rates are in the EU, maybe they just don't like people who have babies.
Oh, come on. No one has ever booed a pregnant woman for being pregnant.
Well, then maybe they were booing her personally. Usha does rub a lot of people the wrong way. She is not a good person.
Okay.
Anyway, we really just don't know what happened there. But I also got to go to a lot of other places that were pretty weird.
Yeah, like where?
Azerbaijan and Armenia. And that 1-2 combo is mental because those two countries are right next to each other and they hate each other.
Yeah.
Like they've been at war for 40 years. Over what? Who knows? Probably somebody owed somebody some money.
I'm pretty sure it's more complicated than that.
It never is, Jimmy. But the reason I was there was pretty cool because we were offering to build nuclear plants in Armenia and then also a road across the Caucasus that would go through both countries.
I see.
And by the way, it's weird that the word for white people is Caucasian, because now that I've been there, like, dude, like they're not Arabs, but you wouldn't name white people after these guys. They're like when you go to the mall and there are all these little kiosks with dudes fiercely trying to sell you shit like drones. It's those dudes. This is their homeland.
Okay, duly noted.
Yeah, dude, I love all this learning.
I see you got in a little trouble over a tweet, huh?
Oh, yeah, as usual. Song as old as time. Okay, so Armenia had its own genocide, apparently. And it was before the Hitler one, so it wasn't like they were copying or anything. And of course, they have this really nice memorial, and Usha and I went and paid our respects, as you do. Got a photo up, and I tweeted out, "Remembering the Armenian genocide," or some shit.
Okay, well, what was the problem with that?
Well, Jimmy, genocides are weird. Like the Hitler one, if you deny that genocide happened, people get really mad. Trust me, I tried it in college. But the Armenian one, it's like the opposite. If you don't deny it happened, a whole other group of people get really mad. So it's like, what do I do, dude?
People got mad?
Of course. Remember, that's my job. But this time it was the Turks, and they put the screws on me until I took the tweet down and put it back up without the G word. And the Turks slowly lowered their scimitars. Always playing 3D chess over here.
Very delicate.
Yeah, especially considering you don't want to make Armenians mad either. I don't know if you've ever met any of those dudes, like in L.A., but if you have, you know what I'm saying. Just want to keep things cool.
Okay, why all the diplomacy in the
Well, it's become a strategic region for us because they want to try and turn away from Russia and more towards us for their needs. And they're right between Russia and Turkey, so it's weird. I was supposed to go to Georgia, but I was like, I'll just do that when I get back to America. Come to find out there's a whole ass country named Georgia there.
Yeah, I know.
You knew that? What the hell, dude? They have to change that. Our Georgia was first. You can't just steal a name.
No, the country of Georgia is actually older than the U.S. state.
I'd like to see the documentation on that. Anyway, I got to go. We're back in Azerbaijan, so I have to fill up on some frozen White Castles we brought on Air Force 2. I am not eating this weird-ass shit they have here. They said Caucasian food, and I got super excited, but, dude, these freaks have not even heard of bologna sandwiches. Plus, Usha's all on my ass about some shit. I can't wait till all this is over and I can just finally be president. Anyway, have fun. Keep being a silly goose.
Okay, fantastic. Oh, I love JD Vance. Those Winter Olympics suck. I haven't watched a second of those Winter Olympics. I only saw someone tweet out a picture of the U.S. women's ski team sitting at a press conference, every one of them wearing a mask. 2026. It's 2026, right?
Yeah.
2026. Yeah.
Maybe it's for warmth.
I hope so. Didn't look like it. Okay, ready? Hey, this is Jimmy. Who's this?
Jimmy Bubler, it's Howard Lutnick.
Ah. Really?
Yes.
Commerce Secretary Lutnick. What a pleasant surprise. How are you?
What? I didn't do anything.
Yeah, what do you mean? I didn't say you did.
I'm sorry. I've just been very defensive lately. I don't know what's going on with me. I probably need to see a therapist.
Oh, is this about appearing in the Epstein files?
What? But I didn't do anything. I never met the man. I'm barely in those files. We had lunch once. I sailed to his island on a yacht. The whole thing is a nothing burger.
That's not what people seem to think, Mr. Secretary.
People? What people? What do they know? Zilch, that's what. I am on record discussing my severing of ties with Jeffrey Epstein, who I never met, in a televised interview.
Oh, really?
Yes, really, Mr. Weisenheimer. I said in that interview that back when he and I were neighbors...
You were neighbors with Jeffrey Epstein?
For about 10 years, but it was a coincidence.
Yeah.
I never met the man in my life. One time I went over there to borrow a cup of sugar or a stick of butter, and there was this massage table. And Jimmy, there were all these candles, and I said, "Oh my!"
Is that all you said?
What? No. I said, "You have a permanent massage table in your house, your home?" And he said, "Yes." And then leaned in and implied that these massages were actually prostitutionings. And I said, "Well, I never want to meet this man." And my wife and I had a conversation that I was never to go over there again for the first time. I wasn't to even meet him. And I said, "Sweetheart, I can't imagine wanting to go over there next door and glean more information about the pleasures that this enigmatic man might be bestowing on friends and colleagues so liberally. No way."
So you never met him?
I only said that like 1,000 times.
Yeah, you and your wife had a conversation and arrived at this agreement together?
Yes, she took the initiative. I will give her that credit, because she saw that he was a man that I shouldn't meet. And I agreed instantly that I shouldn't meet him. I've never met the man in my life. I only know him from the news.
And when was that?
2005. I remember very vividly because that Pussycat Dolls song, "Don't You Wish Your Girlfriend Was Hot Like Me," was topping the charts, and I was obsessed with that song. Just those young chicks of sluts shaking it on camera. How dare they?
But according to the Epstein files that were just released, you continued to have dealings with Epstein all the way up until 2018, long after he was a convicted sex offender.
He was? Oh, dear.
As you yourself said, you took your yacht to Epstein's Island to visit with him, but you've never met him.
Yes, I told you. I took my yacht to his island to have lunch, but he wasn't home. There must have been a miscommunication. So I don't know where he was. So I didn't meet him. It was scheduled, like the file said, but it didn't happen. So I couldn't have met him or gotten a special massage from Bambi and Thumper. That would have been impossible.
What did you do?
I don't know. We looked at his island, and then we sailed back to our island. That's life in the islands, sailing around in yachts. And besides, I was there with my family, my children. What sort of terrible thing could have happened with children there?
One released document showed you two were even business partners.
Jimmy, please, come on. Are you personally acquainted with everyone you're in business with?
Yes, of course.
What, are you running a peanut stand? Look, I've never met this man, this Epstein or whatever. I didn't do anything. What?
Man, are you really laying it on thick here?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm not laying on anything, thick or thin. No layers of anything. I'm innocent.
High-level politicians in the UK are getting fired over this scandal, and no one here is being held accountable. Strange.
I know. That really is so strange.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I didn't do anything. I never met the man. But all these other perverts are just getting away with it. I have no idea why.
Not really.
Not really. Not really.
Not really. Do you have any advice for anyone who did commit crimes with Jeffrey Epstein?
I can't see why I would, but if you twisted my arm, I'd just say lie over and over again until it blows over. Because no one's going to do anything. And it will be like nothing ever happened. I mean, if I were to take a guess.
I see.
Oh, and say hello to Tiffany and Roxy for me.
Wait, what? Who are they?
I don't know. I've never met them. I've never done anything ever. I've never met anyone. I just don't meet people, you know. Ask me. Name someone. Anyone. I won't know them, I assure you.
I have to say, Mr. Secretary, your act has to be the worst of anyone's.
That's because it doesn't have to be good. That's the beauty of this whole thing.
You really disgust me, sir.
What?
Okay, that's enough. We got to go, Commerce Secretary Lutnick, everybody. Thank you, Commerce Secretary.
Toodaloo.
Toodaloo. Hey, why do you laugh like a maniac when you're standing behind Trump and someone brings up the Epstein files?
I don't know. I get nervous.
Okay.
I just do a nervous laugh.
It seems very creepy to a lot of people. Seems out of place.
Well, I don't know why. Why would it be?
Okay. All right. Thank you, Secretary Lutnick. Mike McRae, ladies and gentlemen. Great job. Mikey, do you got anything you want to plug?
Yeah, I'm headlining the Velveeta Room, Austin's longest running comedy club this weekend. One show Friday, two shows. Valentine's Day, 8 o'clock and 10. If you haven't made Valentine's Day plans, they got a special package there for you at the club for couples. It's going to be a great time. I got some of my favorite local comics going up with me. It's going to be a lot of fun. Come to the show. Go to the velveetaroom.com for tickets. Okay, everybody, check out the one and the only, the master impressionist, Mike McRae. Now, Mike, you do some of those. There's just one.
You do some of those impressions during your act, right?
I do some in my act that I do in the show. I do some in my show in my act that I don't do on your show.
Oh, no kidding. Can you?
Not on purpose, but I just haven't made them characters.
Like what? Like what?
Let's see. I have to go through.
You don't have to. Okay, that's all right.
I have to go look at my notes.
All right, buddy. Great job. Good to talk with you. Everybody, check him out this Friday, Saturday at the Velveeta Room in Austin.
All right, take care, guys.
All right, bye, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Sure. Hey. Hey, if you watch the show, you already know the corporate news doesn't inform you. It manages you. That's why I've been partnering with Ground News for more than a year now. It's a website and an app that lets you compare how the same story is covered across the media, all in one place. You pull up a story, and Ground News instantly organizes thousands of sources about it. Then it shows you visual breakdowns for political bias, reliability, and who owns the outlets reporting it. Let me show you how it works. Here's a story about thousands protesting after the fatal ICE shooting of Renee Good. Now, right away, you can see over 450 outlets reported on it, and Ground News pulls all these sources into one page. You can also see the bias distribution. This story has a mostly center and left-leaning coverage. And as you scroll, it shows you reliability and ownership, so you can spot when multiple outlets are really just the same corporate machine. Now, my favorite part is comparing headlines. On the left, you'll have outlets like Raw Story that say, they just want an excuse to rage. MAGA melts down over planned nationwide ICE protests. And on the right, 1010, WCSI says left-wing group backs tens of thousands of anti-ICE agitators nationwide. Same story, two totally different headlines. Ground News makes that obvious in seconds because you're looking at it all side by side. And I especially like their blind spot feed, which highlights stories that are disproportionately covered by one side of the political spectrum and ignored by another. It's basically a chess code for finding... It's basically a cheat code for finding what your team isn't telling you. If you're tired of realizing you've been stuck in an algorithm bubble, this is how you start popping it. So yeah, Ground News is a lot like this show. They're doing what we're doing, trying to cut through the garbage and give you the full picture. And best of all, they're giving my viewers 40% off their Vantage plan, which is what I use and includes access to all their features. This discount is only available through my link, so go to groundnews.com/JD. Scan the QR code on screen or click the link in the description to get started for about $5 a month and support an independent news platform working to make the media landscape more transparent. Okay.
Nice.
All right. Nice. Nicely done, Jimmy.
Wow.
I think so.
Should we go to a break to get Kurt on, or do we have to wait? Okay, so stand by. We'll be right back.
Hey, Sam Altman recently announced that ChatGPT can now reference all your past conversations. Did you know that? Do you feel comfortable knowing an AI platform has access to all your thoughts, dreams, sensitive questions, business ideas, etc.? What are they going to do with it? Introducing Venice AI. Venice AI lets you use AI without handing over your sensitive information. Venice utilizes leading open source AI models to deliver text, code, and image generation to your web browser. There's no downloads, no installations of anything. They don't spy on you or censor the AI. Messages are encrypted and your conversation history stored only in your browser. AI can be extremely valuable, but we shouldn't need to give up your privacy to use it. Their Pro plan unlocks the full platform and features including PDF uploads for summaries or insights, the ability to turn off safe mode for unhindered image generation, and the ability to change how Venice interacts with you by modifying the system prompt, limitless text, and high image limits. It will generate images Grok won't allow me to generate. Here's an example. Ready? Hey, please generate an image of a baby getting vaccinated. And there it is. They did it. There it is. So that Grok won't do that. So if you want to use AI without fear of handing over your most intimate thoughts to a corporation or the government, you can get 20% off a Pro plan using my link, venice.ai/Jimmy. And the code is Jimmy.
Jim, you're live.
Hi, I'm here with Americans comedian Kurt Metzger. Hey, Kurt.
Thank you, Jimmy. I'm the Corp shaman now, as so many people know.
Okay. So this story almost got away from us, but I want to cover it. Look what Israelis did to Chile. This is insane. Did you see this? Are you aware of this? The Zionists are turning South America into California. I don't know if you noticed that. Just know
They
that.
changed some rule that they could burn stuff down and buy it or something now, right?
Yeah. Look what they did. They Gazified Chile.
Yeah.
They Gazified it. This is Chile.
It's pretty unmistakable Israeli handiwork. Let's face the facts on that one.
Wow. And you know how fussy Israeli tourists tend to be abroad? They probably thought it was a little too chilly, if you know what I mean, and they wanted to go ahead and warm it up, if you know what I'm talking about.
I promise you that is true, Jimmy.
Yeah.
That is 100% true, yes.
The recent wildfire in Chile has reignited speculation about the long-standing Plan Anadina. Plan Anadina refers to a Zionist plot to establish a Jewish state in Patagonia. Let's look at some of the key events. Israelis were responsible for multiple arsons over several years. Between 2012 and 2017, Israelis accounted for 23 of the 36 expulsions from Torres del Paine for fire-related violations, including lighting bonfires. Israeli tourists were detained recently for making fires in the Torres del Paine National Park. The tourists responsible for the recent fires in Patagonia were also Israelis. There was an attack on firefighters while they were trying to extinguish a fire in Araucanía region. Dozens of fires ignited in a short time frame, with 24 active fires reported as of Sunday, January 18th, and 75 wildfires reported in total by January 20th. Whoa. The main areas of Israeli military involvement in Chile are Biobío and Araucanía regions. The fires primarily started in the Biobío and Ñuble regions on January 16th. On January 19th, new fires had broken out in the Araucanía region, which borders Biobío. Rodrigo Wainwright, mayor of Puerto Montt, went on a trip to Tel Aviv in July of 2025. It was fully funded by Israel and was part of a Latin American mayor's delegation. Local activists and council members condemned the visit as an attempt to legitimize Israel's war and normalize ties, with protesters calling it a whitewash of genocide. His political party, the Renovación Nacional, has evangelical supporters, but not an explicitly evangelical political party. Jose Antonio Cast, the pro-Israeli candidate who won the Chilean presidential runoff on December 14th, 25, is scheduled to take office in March. He has pledged to rectify Boric's foreign policies, so more collaboration with Israel are expected under Jose Antonio Cast. That means Israeli development companies could be assigned to rebuild the burned areas in Chile. You got to be kidding me.
Who is assigned to rebuild the ones in L.A.? Were they Israeli by any chance? I'm starting to think all this is Israeli.
The plan, Andina, first circulated publicly in 1971 in the form of a leaflet among Argentine military officers. In 2009, Senator Eugenio Tuma Zidane of Chile said that 8,000 to 9,000 Israeli tourists annually were actually IDF soldiers in disguise, mapping southern Chile for a secret Jewish state in Patagonia. In 2012, some Chilean politicians suspected the fire was linked to the Andina plan, but the ADL was quick to respond, labeling it as anti-Semitic. A coordinated campaign is unfolding across nations, not by accident or politics, but by design. Recently targeted countries in Latin America include Venezuela, Argentina. So Venezuela was invaded for regime change. Argentina, Javier Milei literally sold out He changed the law, letting Israelis buy their recently burned up land, which was previously against the law. Colombia, it's being threatened for regime change. Chile, upcoming pro-Israel president Jose Antonio Cast. And Greenland, outside of Latin America, currently being targeted. Whoa. Hey, aren't all those countries on the cuckoo map of North American technate? You know, the cult that Elon's grandpa started?
Yeah.
Why, yes, they are.
Yeah.
Why, yes, they are. Chile has become one of the most critical Latin American nations toward Israel. President Gabriel Boric took office in March of 22, and his administration has strongly condemned Israel's genocide in Gaza and taken actions such as recalling Chile's ambassador from Israel, committing to open an embassy in the Palestinian territories, withdrawing military attaches, banning imports from Israeli settlements in occupied Palestinian territories, excluding Israel from defense fairs, backing an international arms embargo on Israel, and pledging to reduce reliance on Israel defense technology, supporting South Africa's genocide case against Israel at the International Court of Justice. Whoa.
Well, if this wasn't already a very old plan, they would have included them for this.
Right? You'd think. Support for Israel in Chile comes from mainly the Jewish community. 28,000 people concentrated in Santiago, includes organizations like the Federación Sionista that promote Zionism, evangelical Christians, 16%, who are theologically Zionists. Santiago, Puente Alto, and Concepcion are key political centers. The mayor of Concepcion is Hector Munoz. He is the vice president and founding member of the Partito Social Cristiano. PSC is an explicitly evangelical Christian party with support for Zionism. Concepcion is a major industrial and port city, often a political backdrop, and vastly affected by the current fires.
Well, there's your network of who did the fires, I would wager, Jimmy.
I would wager, too. The Biobo region government signed a contract with, oh, man, this is hard to read.
Mekarot
in 2020 through Israel's National Water Company for a 6-month consultancy on water management.
Oh.
This decision faced strong opposition from civilians and legal experts due to Mekarot's role in restricting water access in the occupied Palestinian territories. The contract was criticized for lacking transparency and bypassing public procurement laws.
Let's get people known for stealing water to handle our water.
Yep. Cooperation since the 1970s. Major deals include Falcon radar in 1993, UAVs, Spike missiles, and Galil rifles. Cybersecurity signed in June 26, 2019 between Chile's CSART and Israel's INCD, typically valid for 3 to 5 years. So they also have a joint program under Erika, launched in 2017 and 2018. Projects last 2 to 3 years. Satellite tech, Israeli involvement since at least 2011. Surveillance tech, use of Skystar, Aerostats, and Celebrate tools, ongoing with used fixed. So they're really intertwined with Israel over there. It's really crazy. Look at this. Israel tourists arrested in huge Patagonia fire. That was in December 2011. Chile eyes Israeli tourist as wildfires ravages Patagonia. That's from 2012. Chile, Israelis thrown out of national park for lighting fire. That's 2014. Fires rage across southern Chile. Israeli backpackers blamed. That's from 2017.
Wild.
Wow. So they threw them out? They didn't arrest them? Man, that's power. It's not like he drove close to an ICE agent or was at a protest or anything. Just accidentally burnt a country down. Huh.
Yeah, I think they said help yourself to some kids on the way out.
Yeah. Bro exposed Javier Milei's core. He's another dog of Israel in Latin America, similar to Maria Corina Machado. She won the Nobel Prize. Israel is destroying Argentina's Patagonia forest for real estate. Let's listen.
Patagonia sigue siendo arrasada por el fuego. Mientras tanto, el
So,
presidente pelotudea
hang on,
en
let me,
Instagram y
I'll
publica
read it to you. It says, Patagonia continues to be ravaged by fire. The president fools around on Instagram and posts 4,000 stories as if he were your aunt who sells appliances. Whoa, this is fast. Gotta back this up. Your aunt who sells appliances and blames the Mapuches. The person caught setting fire to a national park is clearly not a Mapuche. That's the person. He is an Israeli tourist. These sons of bitches are setting everything on fire. If we don't take care of this, who will? A year ago, Israel caught fire, and President Milei rushed to send help, as if it were his own country. Now Argentina is on fire, and he doesn't care. He's spending billions on F-16s that are useless except for climbing aboard and pretending to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. Meanwhile, in the budget, he cut 78% of the funds to fight fires. Wow. While Patagonia burns, the government prepares for February 10th. That's a package of reforms to eliminate the forest law, land law, glacier law, and fire management law, thus facilitating the purchase of land for foreigners and allowing forest areas to be burned for real estate projects, obtaining immediate profit at the expense of the heritage of millions of Argentinians. Yes, everything is related to everything. They are burning Patagonia to give it to entirely to Israel. Well, maybe if Patagonia belongs to Israel, Milei would at least send a hose. This is nothing more or nothing less than an act of treason to the country. Yes, Milei is a traitor to the country. Wow.
Look, kid, where all of our leaders are traitors to their own country and to their voters. I just want to point out, America bailed that asshole Milei out just recently after his chainsaw thing, which was now, looking back, a complete trick so that Israel could steal their shit. And I'll bet Israel feels extra justified doing that in Argentina, right? Because they hit all those Nazis. So I'll bet you it's not even, they're not even going to blink about lying and doing that to Argentina.
And so here is Javier Milei on his. He's been to Israel for a couple of hours, and he's already bowed at the Western Wall. There he is.
Javier Milei.
There he is.
Junto a
There he is.
Axel Weinstein.
Oh, is he okay?
There he is.
Oh.
There he is. Well, I figured he might have converted after he did 2 crypto rug pulls on his own people.
That's usually how you convert. You got to do 2 crypto rug pulls and then go kiss the Wailing Wall.
He's already got Zyosores from giving a glory wall job in a foreign land. So now you know the rest of the story. The Israel project is way more destructive than you think. It's not just to the Gazans. It's not just to the Palestinians. It's not just to the Iraqis. It's not just to the Libyans. It's not just to the Syrians. It's not just to the Iranians. It's not just to the Lebanese. It's also to people in Chile, to people in Argentina, people in Venezuela. Israel is a cancer on the world. On the world. Israel is a cancer.
Jimmy, if Putin goes in Ukraine, he won't stop until he gets everything. Oh, if Muslims aren't stopped, they're going to take over. Oh, it'll be your problem in the Western Hemisphere. I know you don't think that. Well, guess who is a problem in the Western Hemisphere and all the hemispheres? Israel. And they're taking land, and they're doing it all up. There's a map of it. They can say it openly. This asshole can rug pull his own people. Right? Nobody know. I was just texting to gloat at Ryan Long for being right about this, because he thought that Milei, it wasn't bad to bail them out at the time when that we first reported that, because it was being reported like it's not a loss to the country. But clearly it is because we bailed them out. There's no way to spin that where it's something good. But just like this, his whole country's burning, and this asshole is humping the Wailing Wall.
And if you'd like to hear my jokes about this, come see me in Lansing, Milwaukee, Albuquerque, Houston, Dallas, Salt Lake City, Las Vegas. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. If you go anywhere else, they're going to charge you more. Over to Steph.
Okay, thank you. Time to ditch Chomsky and embrace Parenti. Thank you, Marcus. Duly noted. Was there any reason why there weren't subtitles for the Bad Bunny halftime show? Was it that he told of how the U.S. screwed over Puerto Rico? Duly noted.
Yeah, Bad Bunny is a slang for you-know-what chrome. Because the molecule looks like rabbit ears.
This is Anonymous. What is going, Anonymous? You're too generous. Hold on. Bam.
That was from Bad Bunny.
Barrett Brown would be a great guest to have on. Went to prison for 4 years after uncovering Bank of America and U.S. Chamber of Commerce through the DOJ. Got help from Palantir, plus other private intelligence firms to target U.S. citizens. Highly recommend this memoir, My Glorious Defeats. Whoa. Thank you for that recommendation. I will share it with the team.
People have no idea that private intelligence is a thing.
Right? Private, of course. Is Howard Letnick a friend of the show? CP?
A friend and handler, I would say.
Yeah, that perfect. I got some extra piano cord lying around, and that's from BG. Thank you, BG. I donated to Thomas Massie today. I live in New York. They politicized COVID. I guess I shouldn't be surprised they did the same with PDFs. Disgraceful. I'd rather be accused of Trump's derangement syndrome than covering for the PDFs, BG. You know, when you get a load of Pam Bondi's...
Watch your mouth. When someone gets a load, it's none of my business.
Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
Pam Bondi.
If you watch her exchanges with different congresspeople, she's so indignant. What is she indignant about? Just not doing a good job?
She can't believe she even has to answer questions about how she covered up for cannibal pedophiles.
I was watching her earlier today, and she had to go back to talk about the Clintons.
Oh, I hope they testify. I really hope Tim Dillon's idea that, because they're trying to get him to testify not in an open court.
No kidding. Why? Why do they get to be secret court?
And if it's an open, I hope it's open court, and Hillary will be my hero. That murderous face-eating bitch, if she goes and destroys Trump and tells all the secrets, she'll be my hero. I'm with Hillary shirt.
All right.
Okay.
Back to Jimmy.
So Thomas Massie is on a rampage, and he's calling out the DOJ for covering up perpetrators' names. That's what he's doing. So here is Representative Thomas Massie. He reveals that Les Wexner, I don't know if you don't know who Les Wexner is.
He's a goblin.
He's a goblin. What's the
guy
company?
above Epstein.
What's the company?
Victoria's Secret. He also Abercrombie and Fitch. So the other guy in that trafficking ring got acquitted.
So Les Wexner runs Victoria's Secret, and he appointed the guy who was running Abercrombie and Fitch. I can't talk today. And that guy who he appointed got arrested for being PDF file.
Well, no, he was trafficking male model. I don't know if PDF file is in that one. Well, it doesn't matter. He's acquitted, so it's fine.
Yeah, okay. Massie says the department. So Representative Thomas Massie reveals that Les Wexner, the head of Victoria's Secret, has now been officially named as a co-conspirator in the Epstein child trafficking case. Massie says the Department of Justice attorney Todd Blanche was pressured into unredacting Wexner's name after public pressure. Massie now says Blanche, who's the deputy secretary of the Department of Justice, or the deputy attorney general, is that what they call him, is covering up the identities of 4 other major PDF files tied to Epstein's trafficking network. Let's listen.
An example of something, maybe it wasn't intentional on their part. I'd like to hear his take on the redaction of the CEO, who's listed as a co-conspirator in the 2019 child sex trafficking case.
So can I ask you, because, and I want to ask if this is the same person, Todd Blanche also said about that tonight that the document you're citing there has victim names in it,
Correct.
seeming to say that's why there are redactions. He said, we have just unredacted Les Wexner's name from this document, but his name already appears in the file thousands of other times, and he says the Justice Department is hiding nothing. Is that the retired CEO that you're referencing?
It is. He unredacted it after I found it. That's a problem. And I'm glad they've admitted they made a mistake by redacting that.
So you're saying it was redacted when you went in there today, and after you tweeted that, they unredacted it?
Correct. Now he's got 4 other names he needs to unredact. Did he respond?
So what happened was the FBI prepared the file, and then the Department of Justice went and redacted names that the FBI hadn't. And then Massie got a look at it, and he said, hey, why are you redacting Les Wexner's name? And those other 4 people? You shouldn't be doing that. So then the Department of Justice went in and then unredacted it. So that's what's happened. Okay.
There's a list of 20 people, and there's 4 men in there that need to be unredacted. Here's another troubling thing that I found.
Can you say who those 4 men are tonight?
I don't think they're well known, and so if I did, it wouldn't matter, but I could probably say them on the floor of the House, but I'll give the DOJ a chance.
So the reason why he wants to say them on the floor of the House is because you can say anything on the floor of the House, and you can't be held liable for it. So you can slander someone, you can make false allegations, you can do anything you want, and you're protected because you can say anything you want on the floor of the House, and nothing can happen to you. So I think maybe that's the reason why he wants to make sure he's insulated from from frivolous lawsuits. Okay.
To do what they did in these 2 examples, where I've discovered something and now they've responded.
Okay. So in response to my post on X today, the Department of Justice unredacted an FBI file that labels 2 individuals as co-conspirators. Unredacted a file that lists several men who might be implicated. Tacitly admitted that Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem was the sender of the torture videos. So there was a torture video in the files that someone sent to Jeffrey Epstein, and Jeffrey said, thanks for the torture video. Well, now it turns out we know who they redacted his name. It's the Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem. And find out what country he's from. I'm going to guess. And is it from United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia? Where's he from? Find out. You got it? You got it, right? I don't think there should be any redactions. I think every name should be revealed. Why? Because
you have Trump derangement syndrome, Jimmy. That's my guess.
Yeah, well, I'm on the list, and I didn't have anything to do with it.
Me too. Hey, I'm just an important person, okay? Of course he targets relevant, important people like me.
The more resistance you put to having your name out there, the more you look like you're on the bad side of this arrangement. That's all I'm saying.
No, I brag my name's in it because I didn't do nothing
Me
wrong.
too.
I'm just important.
So here is Todd Blanche. He's the Deputy Attorney General. He says the document you cite has numerous victims' names. We have just unredacted Lex Wessner's name from the document, but his name already appears in the files thousands of times. The DOJ is hiding nothing. Well, he got community noted on that. The cited document is an FBI email thread from 2019 discussing 10 potential co-conspirators in Epstein's case and contains no victim names. So they're just redacting perpetrators' names.
Wexler's a victim.
So Thomas Massie says this is significant because Kash Patel testified to Congress that FBI had no evidence of other traffickers. This is the FBI's own 2019 document listing Wexner as co-conspirator in child trafficking. It wasn't unredacted until tonight. Wow. And here it is again. He says, here the Department of Justice acts as if They were justified in redacting the men's names simply because the document contains victims' names. Tonight they learned you can redact victims' names while still publishing the other names, per our law. So he says the document you said there, he says the department is committed to transparency. The document you cite has numerous victims' names. We have just unredacted the non-victim names. The DOJ unredacted some non-victim names in cited file post Massie's. So after Massie said, hey, why are you redacting these perps' names? And then they unredacted them. But some remain redacted. Some still remain redacted. Past errors exposed victims. Transparency claim opinion. Past December 2025 deadline. Okay, so here's another one. We looked at the document. You know it's an email address that was redacted. The law requires redactions for personally identifiable information, including if an email address. And you know that the Sultan's name is available unredacted in the files. So there was another community note. The government keeps getting community noted because they're lying constantly to cover up this PDF file ring. The claimed justification is inapplicable. Per the Act, redacting language on the basis it's personally identifiable information is allowed only for victim info. Moreover, the Act doesn't require redactions. It uses may. So Massie says, until tonight, no one knew who sent the torture video to Epstein. I went to the Department of Justice, unredacted the email, and reverse searched the email to discover it was a Sultan. Our law requires victims' information to be redacted, not information of men who sent Epstein torture porn.
Jimmy, I thought Netanyahu did it. And I look like a fool now because of what this Todd Blanche and the rest of them. So, first of all, I'd like to apologize to Bibi Netanyahu. The torture video was not from him, as I thought. And I'm sorry, Bibi. I'd like to apologize to you and your pig wife and your goofy-looking kid for that.
So, previously known about Sultan, that guy, he's the DP, he's the Emirate of Dubai. He's an Emirate of Dubai. He visited Epstein's townhouse on September 17, 2024. Same day Bill Gates was logged there. His name appeared in message pads and some redacted emails. His ties were framed as post-conviction business social contact, no public allegations of involvement in abuse. What's newly unredacted, revealed due to Representative Thomas Massie's direct pressure on the Department of Justice? Well, over a decade of close, ongoing contact with Epstein's Epstein's 2008 conviction. Emails discussing personal SEX experiences, masseuses, business networking, including Mandelson and Barak. So that's Mandelson, the guy who just got sacked in England over this scandal, and Ehud Barak, the former prime minister of Israel. DNA kits, sacred artifacts, and potential intelligence-linked investments. Ben Suleiman sent Epstein a torture video email in a now unredacted email. Newly public photo of Epstein and bin Salman examining cloth resembling the kiswa, that's a sacred Kaaba covering. No hard evidence yet that bin Salman participated in Epstein's trafficking abuse, but the depth and duration of post-conviction contact is far more extensive than previously understood. Massie personally reviewed the files, identified the redacted sender, and forced transparency.
Now, Massie is the enemy of lizards everywhere, isn't he?
Yeah. So James Lee says, I can't think of any other reason why the Department of Justice redacted Lex Wessner's name other than, of course, to protect Israel. Wow, that's James Lee is a fanatical white supremacist, doesn't he?
Isn't he? His far-right nonsense, Jimmy, and his woke far-rightness, it's becoming a real problem.
What was already known was that Wexner's extensive financial and personal ties to Epstein have been public for years, since 2019, reporting in the New York Times, Bloomberg, and in civil lawsuits. Epstein had full power of attorney over Wexner's finances for over a decade.
What?
Wexner provided Epstein with the Manhattan townhouse valued at $77 million. You know that Epstein lived in the biggest private house in Manhattan, and it was given to him by Les Wexner, apparently.
You know why? Yeah.
Allegations surfaced in Virginia Guffray's deposition and Maria Farmer's accounts that Epstein used Victoria's Secret connections for recruitment. Wexner's name appeared in flight logs, the Black Book, and prior unreleased docs, but always in the context of association, not criminal conspiracy.
Yeah. So Epstein, they made it look like he victimized this lonely old man with some gay hijinks in the Netflix documentary. That's how they try to put it out there. But no, Wexner was initiating Epstein into the thing. The mega group is above Israel.
Yes.
Israel exists because of the mega group. So because Epstein is the spokesman of the Rothschilds, he's going to have to go through some weird shit, and that's why he's given the townhouse. Epstein, as we've seen, is not really impressive intellectually on any level. Because he's a puppet, he's not. That's why they're protecting Wexner. That guy is a demon.
That's right. So what is new? Well, what's new is that Massie and Ro Khanna confirmed today that unredacted FBI materials explicitly label Wexner and others as co-conspirators in the trafficking operation. This goes beyond prior public knowledge. No official law enforcement document had previously used that terminology for any male associate, calling them co-conspirators. The fact that the Department of Justice initially redacted Wexner's name, described only as a well-known retired CEO, and then unredacted it today after Massie's public pressure further underscores that this level of detail was not previously released. Massie also reiterated there are at least 6 men's names in the materials that appear incriminating beyond mere association, with one tied to a foreign government. None of these specifics were confirmed in prior releases. So while many suspected deeper involvement based on the known ties, the former FBI co-conspirator framing and the additional names are genuinely new from today's congressional review. More lawmakers are reviewing tomorrow, so expect potential further disclosures. Wow. Whitney Webb's, this is a reminder that Whitney Webb in April 28th of 2020, she said, here's your reminder that Leslie Wexner financed the mass rape and trafficking of thousands of American children for over a decade, and right now he is sitting in a 26,000 square foot mansion in New Albany, Ohio, thinking that he is above the law. She said that in April of 2020. Whitney Webb, always light years ahead of the rest of us.
I mean, she really did put out a lot of great info that is borne out to be the truth, hasn't it?
Yeah. And so now here is Massie gonna completely embarrass the Department of Justice for covering up the redacted names of the PDF files or the alleged co-conspirators with Jeffrey Epstein. So he got it redacted. They redacted a sultan's name from the Emirates, right? He's a sultan from the Emirate of Dubai. Okay. And so watch Massie is going to just wreck her. Pam Bondi, as they say, unravels under questioning by Thomas Massie. You want to see this? This is pretty amazing. And all she has left is to try to insult him. And, well, let's watch.
Are you able to track who in your organization made this massive failure and released the victims' names? Are you able to track who it was?
So they already released all these victim names, the Department of Justice, which they were not supposed to do. But at the same time, they are redacting the co-conspirators, the guys, everybody's names they want to know. People who are not victims, they're redacting, but they unredacted the victims' names. And so he's putting the heat on Pam Bondi. Do you know who did this?
Are you able to track who in your organization made this massive failure and released the victims' names? Are you able to track who it was that obscured Les Wexner's name as a co-conspirator in an FBI document? Do you have that kind of accountability?
I believe Wexner's name was listed more than 4,000 times. I
already told you that. This is where he's listed as a co-conspirator.
Can I finish my answer? Come on, let me finish my answer. We corrected that within 40 minutes. He was already, you're acting like everybody's trying to cover up Wexner's name.
Reclaiming my time.
I'm going to answer this question.
Reclaiming my time.
Mr.
Chairman.
This is how this works.
Can I have my time? Mr. Chairman.
The gentlelady can give her answer. The time belongs to the gentleman from.
All right, I'm reclaiming my time.
Can I give my answer?
So I'm going to put the language of the bill up on the screen.
Chairman, may I give my answer on that? It's a political joke, and I need to give my answer on that.
We'll let the Attorney General respond, and then the gentleman can move to the next question.
It's my time.
Within 40 minutes, you asked me a question. Within 40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed.
There was one redaction out of over 4,700, and we invited you in. This guy has Trump derangement syndrome. He needs to get. You're a failed politician. He needs to
want you to watch the
Chairman, please restore his time and remind the witness of the rules here.
She calls him a failed politician. So what is the definition of a successful politician? Does that mean they can all be found in a photo with Jeffrey Epstein?
That's exactly what it means. Yep. That's right. That's exactly what it means.
So he's going to show. So now Thomas Massie shows Kash Patel lying. Watch this.
And remind the witness of the rules here.
There is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals.
So there's Kash Patel lying, saying there's no information that showed that Epstein trafficked to anybody else except himself. Okay. So now we know that's not true because the own FBI files list 20 co-conspirators. Okay.
Which we all know. Why did everybody accept this? Cash's Israeli beard won't let him prosecute is why he won't.
That's right. Here we go.
Is that your position as well?
So then he asks Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, is that your position as well? That there is no information implicating any other co-conspirators?
My position is any victim who comes forward, of course, we would love to hear from them. 1-800-CALL-FBI. Did you ask Merrick Garland that the last 4 years? Did you talk about Epstein?
I'm reclaiming my time. I'm glad you're asking about Merrick Garland.
You don't get to reclaim time
this is bigger than Watergate.
When I don't answer the question
this goes over 4 administrations. You don't have to go back to Biden. Let's go back to Obama. Let's go back to George Bush. This cover-up spans decades, and you are responsible for this portion of it.
And that's
now,
where
I want to know at what point did the FBI and the DOJ decide that Lex Wessner was not a co-conspirator? Because our Epstein Files Transparency Act requires you, please put it back on the screen, please, to release the internal decision about whether to prosecute him or not, and it's not in the files, and it's not in the files for any of these other men.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
May she answer?
So when they made the decision that he wasn't a co-conspirator, the law states you're supposed to let us know the reasoning and the process you went through to come to that conclusion. And they didn't. They didn't. And so they're breaking the law. And here's her response. Her response is to call him a Trump derangement syndrome guy, to call him a failed politician. This is how she's completely melting down here. This is a real meltdown. This is not wait. The point is you're supposed to remain cool under fire, Pam Bondi, even with your dodging questions. He got her to break. And now she's broken. Here, let's watch.
And he's a hypocrite because he voted against the ban that we were talking about on deep fake AI porn. Only 2 people voted against it, and you were one of them, hypocrite.
So that's
hypocritical on any level. I don't even make the connection.
She just changes the subject. That's
you know what? I without even knowing about the AI fake porn ban, because Israelis own a bunch of the porn, so they're not going to ban porn. It probably was a thing to not make like my great rap video I made of Kash Patel. It's probably so you can't make fun of important people. I bet you the real reason for whatever that fake
that's right
Israel approved ban was.
That's right. So here's what Thomas Massie had to say after that.
I provided the evidence today that shows that his statements were false under oath. Kash Patel's statements were false. They are in possession. They were in possession at the time, and they're still in possession of evidence that other men participated in the sex trafficking.
Attorney General Bondi didn't seem to directly answer that question. I mean, what do you make of what she did say?
She didn't answer anything. She came here just ready to talk about the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ, which seems kind of crazy to me.
And so here she is. What's this guy's name? I don't like this guy.
Yeah.
But he's a Democrat. But watch how she melts down over him. Watch this. This is amazing. Yeah. They're just asking questions that should be asked, finally.
There are 32 names. 1 is redacted. 31 are not. So someone looked at it and decided to redact something. And I will tell you that that is clearly intentional to intimidate these survivors and victims. Now, in an interview last week...
How will you tell me that's intentional?
In an interview last week, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche...
You can't go off script.
...said that any victim that wants to speak with the department has done so, hopefully. Well, thanks to the incredibly brave people sitting here behind you, we can actually ask them if that's true. Now, would the survivors and victims who are here please stand up one more time? Just by show of hands, how many of you or your loved ones actually have met with the Department of Justice and provided testimony and estimate and evidence?
0.
None. And of those of you who have not met, which is everyone, how many of you have reached out either individually or through a lawyer or representative to offer to provide testimony and evidence?
Oh, all of them.
All of them.
All of them.
And of those...
And look at her just sitting there. So this is the face of someone in government, at the top of government, the Attorney General. This is the face she makes when she's being proven to be involved in a cover-up of the biggest child PDF trafficking ring we've ever uncovered in the world.
As all the AGs before her, going back to Mueller, going back to all of them, they only get the job because they help cover up a big, important person PDF file scam. All these pieces of shit.
So this is the exact opposite of what Donald Trump and J.D. Vance promised when they ran for office, that they were going to be the most transparent administration in history. And this is them covering up the very thing that his base cared about the most. This is him. This is her and him covering up the very thing. That's what. And so here's all the victims. They all reached. They said, "Did you hear? Oh, we call 1-800 the FBI. We want to hear from you." They did, and they didn't ask. They didn't interview one of them.
And by the way, the files where people did give tips to the FBI, those are the ones, and some people are my friends and they're just being cautious, I understand, but I don't know why you would be at this point. They're like, oh, well, this could be just a crazy person calling into the FBI.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you know what? I think they exaggerate how many crazy people are calling in because it's a good way to hide all the victims of these Draculas that run your country.
Those of you, all of you who have reached out, how many of you were denied or ignored by the Department of Justice?
All of them.
All of them. And despite the shameful and despicable efforts by Miss Bondi and her department to intimidate you, how many of you are still willing to speak to the Department of Justice? All of them. Well, Miss Bondi, it looks like you have some more witnesses to talk to.
Gentleman's time has expired.
And I yield back.
We will go to the good gentleman from North Carolina, Congressman Knott. Thank you.
Now watch, they give her time to respond to what he just did. Him revealing that they're covering this up and they have zero interest in actually talking to any of the victims. He got her. He exposed her. And the only thing she can do is the most schoolgirl, high school level thing you can think of. She changes the subject and starts to try to insult him. Yeah, everybody there is a piece of garbage. It's called government. But try to stay on topic, Pam.
That's what that punk from the Atlantic Council, what's his dumb name? Vlad Davidson, when I curb stomped him and they took the thing down, he tried to do schoolyard bullying to me like that.
Yeah.
But you're not going to take me with that motherfucker. Yo, I would destroy this bitch.
So let's watch this.
Have a moment, Congressman.
Did she have a moment?
Thank you. Here we go. Here's the photograph. This is why he wanted to repeat everything that had been said previously on Epstein. This is his state, New York. You probably don't even know who this is. Wahid Mohammed from Afghanistan.
Yes, because I'm no longer a prosecutor.
Convicted of assault. Wow, he represents New York. Wow, yet he doesn't care about the illegal aliens convicted of crimes, assault and homicide. No longer.
This has nothing to do with this hearing. This is all she can do is deflect, distract, and change the subject. This has nothing to do with the hearing. She's talking about illegal immigration. That's it.
A prosecutor, so he doesn't care about his constituents. Here we go.
So it's
not scoring points with anybody.
I haven't seen a meltdown like this in a long time. You're not supposed to melt down like that, Pam. You're supposed to stay cool. But this is so she brought this with her because she knew this was going to be her response to whatever they said, which was a non-response. So there is your Trump administration at the top of the government. Mm-hmm. They're running interference for the largest PDF trafficking ring in the world, and they're doing it right in your face. And they think we're all as compromised as cat turd. They all think that we have brain rot like cat turd does. They all think that we're sycophants to Donald Trump instead of being loyal to the Constitution. That's so there's a lot of creeps out there, cat turd being one of them. He's like the leader.
That's an operative. He's an operative. We know that. It's obvious. Yes. I have a question. Why does Pam Bondi have that photo ready to go?
That's right. That's what I said. She brought, because she knew she wasn't going to respond to any of their actual questions or accusations. She was going to, her only thing, Kurt, is to change the subject, which is what she's doing.
And she had nothing about Massie?
And nothing. She had nothing about, she couldn't defend herself about anything. They didn't interview any of those victims, even though they lied and said they did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And she's got nothing to say about it, being caught covering up this ring. She got nothing to say about it. So let's change the subject and try to distract you.
I'm gonna just throw this wild speculation out there as a shaman. This guy who's always been a piece of shit, and his lame attack, which is not as good as Massie's, I bet this has worked out because he's part of the same people that would also go to Epstein Island and love Israel and all that bullshit. So one thing I noticed is these people, since I've been talking to MK Monarch victims who are all fans of Jimmy Dore, the ones I talk to. They'll always tell me about how these things are worked out to do these little play acting things in these stupid, in these hearings. And Massie's not in it because they get, they're like,
yeah,
they have to improv suddenly.
All right, well, there you go. And the fact that there's a sizable chunk of the Donald Trump MAGA base that completely rolled over on their principles and are loyal to Donald Trump instead of being loyal to the MAGA platform or to policies or to the Constitution, show you that what that's called a cult. So just like when people didn't want to believe that Joe Biden was demented and they lied and they repeated lies, that's a cult. Same thing right here. So if
low information,
so if you're still going along with Donald Trump and Pam Bondi along, you are a sycophant to power. You have a fetish for Donald Trump. You don't have loyalty to our country. You don't have loyalty to our Constitution. You don't have loyalty to the policies that Donald Trump ran on. You have loyalty to a person. That's called a cult. That's the opposite of what you're supposed to do. You are the swamp. So now pieces of garbage like cat turd are the swamp, and they're cheering on swampness. They're cheering on the biggest cover-up of the biggest PDF ring in the world. That's what those people are doing.
He always was.
Wait, what do you want to do? You want to lose the midterms? I mean, that's the kind of shit people are saying.
Yes, and I want it to burn the fuck down.
Yes.
But look,
I love what Candace says.
Didn't lose it. He was always an operative who tricked anyone that thought he wasn't. He was always part of it. If people talking this shit are in, they're not dumb. Right. They're in on it.
All right, we got it. If you want to hear my jokes about this, come see me in Lansing, Milwaukee, Albuquerque, Houston, Dallas, Salt Lake City, Las Vegas. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. Let's go take a break, and we'll be right back. JP Morgan expects gold prices to surge to $6,300 per ounce by the end of 2026. This comes against a backdrop where gold has already moved into record territory, having surpassed $5,000 per ounce just this year. According to JP Morgan, this is more than just temporary market panic. They believe gold prices are being supported by a structural floor created by central banks and large institutional investors, as well as underlying macro pressures like geopolitical uncertainty and diversification away from paper assets. Even after the recent price pullbacks, JP Morgan says long-term momentum remains intact. And then there's silver. Silver continues to trade in triple digits, reflecting broader precious metals momentum. Many analysts now see silver pricing entering a repricing phase, with industrial demand and supply pressures driving interest. Silver's dual role, industrial use and monetary metal, makes its recent move noteworthy. There's a big reason institutions are talking about precious metals. If you want to learn more, Monetary Gold has a complimentary gold and silver guide. Visit jimmylovesgold.com or call 800-476-7790 to request.
Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. FSO says Kirk needs a ritual goat's mask and priestly robes now that he's in the Epstein files. All hail Kirk, your derpness. They love banging in the wall. It feels like a white woman's flat ass. FSO. Oh, anonymous. I'm going to read this again. Your generosity. Barrett Brown would be a great guest to have on. Went to prison for 4 years after uncovering of Bank of America and U.S. Chamber of Commerce through the DOJ. Got help from Palantir, plus the private intelligence firms to target U.S. citizens. Highly recommend his memoir, My Glorious Defeats. All right, well, make sure to share that with the team. Connie Reloaded. Thank you, Connie. Netanyahu ain't gonna be so tough in the Astro from the either to the Astro. I will be there. Netanyahu can't escape the upcoming Astro afterlife. Unvaccinated guy. We need a bunch of volunteers with cold sores to kiss the Wailing Wall. Had to misspell sores because the correct spelling of sores is banned YouTube. Really? That's crazy. Unvaccinated guy, and you're back. Anti-Semite crimes should be challenged with a DNA test to prove that Anglo grifters are not actually, I'm not going to read the last term, but that's really interesting. To do a DNA test if somebody accuses me that I was anti-Semitic, and I could say, okay, before you got to do some DNA testing on this fella. I think I like it.
Lutnick is Trump's handler. I didn't even think of that, but clearly that's every time Trump comes with a different attitude, he's got that asshole standing behind him.
You got that one right. Imagine a stand-up show with Kirk and Doug Stanhope. I am the boot. The painter warned us. You got that right, Savage. The painter warned us. Say no to Sono. Dr. Richard Wood here. I loved the enthusiasm for my post of ultrasound causing autism. Thanks. I published a video describing how ultrasound causes burn injuries and inflammation in fetal brains video at Say No to Sono 5061. And, we have a friend who is a medical practitioner, and his wife was pregnant, and they did not get an ultrasound. And he was just sharing with us, sometimes during the ultrasound, the baby will move away and shift positions because they want to get away from the ultrasound. Ah, my God. Why are we doing that to little babies? It's crazy.
So, Kurt, would you say that...
back to Jimmy.
So there was a bunch of Hasidic Jews in New York. I tweeted out, and they are thousands of Jews reject Zionism, and it's claimed that the giant Zionists speak for Jews, right? We've seen this. There's a lot of... and then people say to me, people only say this when they don't know what Judaism is. Zionism is Judaism. What's wrong with criticizing Judaism? Because
Nick Fuentes, dipshit fan, and Israel made Nick Fuentes, and Epstein is the father of what he did on 4chan, you morons.
It's not, no.
That's who's saying that.
That's not who's saying it. It's a different guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they're an idiot, whoever they are. No, Zionism's not Judaism. It's not.
It's not Judaism.
By the way, Judaism, they don't have a pope, everybody. They don't have a pope. Israel tries to take all these separate sects scattered around the world and say the same thing, but no, they're not. We only have ultra-Orthodox because Zionists wanted to marginalize the Orthodox that didn't want the modern state of Israel. So they came up with a term to, like if you're an isolationist, if you want to blow up another country and take their shit, they go, what are you, an isolationist? That's the trick. So anybody saying that is a complete jerk off who hasn't looked into it as much as me, is what I'll put out there.
Okay. Well, here, then I'll send you this guy's tweet and then you respond to it. How about that?
Oh, that would be a pleasure, Jim. Take a break from bullying Cash Patel online.
Oh, we're back to me? How did that happen? Okay. I didn't even expect until I saw myself there and I was like slouching. What was I doing? Okay, let's go here. Ask Kirk if he has read The Committee of 300 by Dr. John Coleman.
No, I did not.
That book names some of they in the mega group.
More than Whitey Webb did?
I don't know, but also I was catching an old episode of Candace Owens, and I just retweeted it, and she was talking about Mega and the Mega group in that episode.
Whitney talked about it first, and they're above Israel. The Mega group.
Those
know
are
the
that.
Baal worshipping fucks above Israel. Yeah, those are the ones that were in charge of blackmailing Bill Clinton through Monica Lewinsky.
Oh yes,
yes, yeah, the Mega group, and Leslie Wexner, this, according to him, I'm quoting him from his interview, as Whitey Webb pointed out very well. He thought he was going to die in a mountain, made a deal with a Dybbuk, which is in Judaism, the form of demon, not a fallen angel, a dead person. Sounds like a body thief from Scientology, kind of. And he made a deal with a Dybbuk so that he could live and this thing could possess him and do. He said this in an interview. And you know what? You saw the Britney Spears story from Monday. Nobody paid any attention to it, even though it sounds crazy as I'm saying it.
Yeah. Thank you. Massie was De Malloy, a Freemason youth pipeline. That's for trees. Unvaccinated.
Say what?
Says Massie was Demolay. Demolay.
Okay. What does that mean?
And I don't know. A Freemason.
Well, Jacques de Molay is from the Templars, but what is it that? And by the way, just because someone's in these things, even though I don't like these groups, that don't mean you go to the after party. Do you understand? I'm in the Epstein files, but I didn't go to the party. The P. Diddy parties, not everybody went to the after party. You're getting scouted in these groups to see if you're cool. And if you're not cool, they're going to persecute you.
Well, yeah, there's an article one of our subscribers sent to us, and it has to do with the Playboy Mansion and Hugh Hefner. Using, these Instamatic cameras, to compromise people. And it's like, of course, where there's crazy, sexualization happening at a party, people are going to be compromised. You're going to be drinking. People, just horrifying. Netanyahu is worse than Fauci. Think about that. And Fauci deserves to be drawers and quartered. That's an unvaccinated guy. Not hard to think about that. Not hard to figure that part out about Netanyahu. Let's see. This says, Kirk, can you derp this? Is that whole tech circle frontmen for Yahtzee grandsons?
What?
I don't know. Is that
I have no
whole
idea.
tech circle frontmen for Yahtzee grandsons?
What's whole tech? And what do you mean Yahtzee? Are you trying to say not? Can we not say Nazi?
Oh, maybe Nazi grandson.
I
don't know.
I don't know.
And then, Jimmy, if in Austin you and Derpberg come out to Taylor, free barbecue, Starship out ski. And that's from Texas Outgrown. Texas Grown. Thank you, Texas Grown. All right, back to Jimmy.
Kurt, how many would you say comedians at your level or higher live in Austin?
I don't know. I literally never keep track of the scene, or when people make there's all these channels. There's a cottage industry. Now I don't know who everybody is. Some of them are like losers from Austin who are from like the improv scene, and they're mad. Austin, when there was festivals, there'd be a scene here, but otherwise, until Joe made that club, no, there is no scene. And then they'll live like parasites off of I hate Joe and I hate Joe's friends. Now I don't get included in the Rogan sphere. never see them include you either, because they're trying. It would be inconvenient for their narrative of, Joe's bad and this and that and whatever. But I don't care about the scene. I'm not single. I'm not out trying to bang. I'm not out all night drinking and doing blow and all the shit that some younger comic might do. I hope everybody sucks here except me. I hope there's nothing but bad comment. I'm not saying that's not Austin, but I'm just saying I hope it was like that. So I would never complain. Oh, how many headliners live here? I don't give a shit. I care about me. I'm not an improv guy. I'm a stand-up.
I was just wondering what the scene is like. And
a bunch of fucking stupid idiots that will probably get victimized by the next Epstein. Like every entertainment scene. Entertainers are damaged whores, and they will suck up to power with the exception of very few people. What I love is, I know, Jimmy, as a guy that cares about his hair like you do, that you are an insecure dude, but you are just honest, so you don't let it do what all the other fucks around you, I watched it do to them. I really admire the shit out of that, I gotta tell you.
Well, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
Because I know you do an actual self-reflection, because you have it in you to be like, I don't even know who I would compare it to. One of these failure comics and they're successful, but they disappoint the shit out of me, who are herd animals. You know what I mean? Like,
yes,
I
used to hang out with all of them. They're all herd animals, all of them. The tippy top of comedy, that you would think people who have the power to tell the truth, and they won't. They wouldn't look into COVID. They won't look into Ukraine war. They won't look into anything.
They think that Trump was elected because Joe Rogan spoke to him.
That's right. You're right.
And I want you to know how much I look down on you if you think that. And if
you think Joe Rogan is that powerful, you would think they would be nicer to him. You think that Kamala Harris would have went on his show because he invited her, wanted her on. She wouldn't go. So if you think Joe Biden, I always said that. I always say that about Jill Stein. I always say that about me. If you think we have this kind of power that we can swing elections, then if you really thought that, you would be nicer to us. You would try to sway us. You would try to find ways to appease us and include us. But they do the exact opposite. They try to demonize us and blame us and ostracize us.
You know why?
Which is, if we really had the power, you wouldn't do that.
So basically, someone like Kamala and all these people, when they do this platforming bullshit, I hate whoever came up with that term.
Me too.
I hate you so much.
It has to be CIA.
So instead of why don't they ever self-reflect on how they failed? Well, they know that they could never do anything for the people. The plan has always been to curb the population and utterly control them. So they look at it as the low information voter is the most valuable resource. And you have a responsibility to steer the low information voter. We know they're stupid and they don't know anything. Tell them the things we need, because we're the goods. We manipulate them for a goods reason. And you want the bad man, but someone's going to manipulate, because some people are always cows no matter what. To us, we're the people up. So elites just think like that. So the crime to them is not lying. It's not, because they all believe in Plato's Republic, these pieces of shit, where the noble lie. And you have an obligation to lie to people in a way that helps me, the noble. They fucking suck. And so they're all these suck up underlings that would easily go to an Epstein Island party and keep their mouth shut and they saw a kid get fed to fish. All of them go, don't you submit your head to power? I just want to keep my head down and get work. Don't you do that? They all think you should do that, and they don't. And then they go, "What's your angle?"
I don't want any trouble.
That's exactly it.
Oi! I don't want any trouble.
I mean, to talk about China in any kind of bad way, this nation of punks and dilettantes and suck-ups, you ought to be ashamed. You ought to ask China to forgive you, most of you here, you punk ass. What a bitch-ass country America is.
Well, you know what I say to that, Kurt? I think that's very
interesting. You're like the first to bring up AIPAC in years. Which is interesting.
It's interesting. Oh, you can't hear it. It's too low.
No.
Oh, shit. We got it. It's just Newsom saying it's very interesting.
I love that sample. It's just interesting. I'm just saying.
It's just interesting. I'm just saying it's very interesting.
Well, you know, Jimmy, when you were highlighting Bill Maher and Adam Carolla, you were talking about that. And Bill Maher was acting as if, like he had to go along. Yeah. He had to go along. And he didn't even use his platform to push back on anything.
You know, I had to go along. I had to pay rent and travel and pay my bills. I had to. I wish I didn't, too. I wish I didn't. I wish I forged it. I wish I committed a crime and forged it so much.
All right. How you doing, Jim?
I'm ready.
Okay.
So you know this guy is Howard Lutnick. He's the Secretary of Commerce.
Mm-hmm.
He lived next door to Jeffrey Epstein, and he told a lie. Watch this acting. This is some of the best acting I've seen. Really, I got to say, he's good at this. He's going to lie about not knowing Jeffrey Epstein. Let's watch this.
Jeffrey Epstein was your neighbor. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about him. East 71st Street. He was your neighbor for 10 years. How well did you know him?
So do you see how embarrassed the journalist is just to do her job? I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about your friend's PDF file cannibal parties.
I don't even want to ask you this, but I would be remiss if I didn't at least bring up the fact.
I got to at least bring it up. I'd be remiss.
It's fine. I understand.
I have to apologize for doing journalism right now. The only question anybody really cares about, I have to apologize for asking it.
As you know, I'm from bitch-ass New Zealand, the big pharma country.
Well, let's watch. Lutnick's going to take it in stride. Why? Because he's a gentleman. Let's watch.
Jeffrey Epstein was your neighbor. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about him. East 71st Street. He was your neighbor for 10 years. How well did you know him?
All right. So
first of all, let me just, before I let him answer, Lutnick. That name Lutnick sounds like what a disappointed father calls his good-for-nothing son. Look at this lazy Lutnick over here, sleeping all day.
Because he's a Lutnick.
Everybody knows that Lutnick was the first man-made satellite to orbit the planet, right? Wasn't that the Lutnick? No, okay.
Do you know what I just realized when you were playing this, Jimmy? Is I was neighbors with both of them when I lived on 76 and 2nd Avenue.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
Yeah, they used to live by the comic strip.
Here we go.
Jeffrey Epstein was your neighbor. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about him. East 71st Street. He was your neighbor for 10 years. How well did you know him?
All right. So we are in number 11 and he lives in number 9.
Right.
So we renovate, we buy our house, and our house is pigeons and mice.
Right.
Okay. It was derelict.
Right.
So pigeons and mice, it's probably code word for something horrific. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Our mansion was infested with pizza and grape soda. I'm sorry, pigeons and mice. Did I say pizza and grape soda? Okay, here we go.
So we rebuild our house. We move in 2005. Okay. Jeffrey Epstein is arrested in like 08, I think, something like that.
Right.
So knock on the door. His assistant on like a Saturday says, Mr. Epstein, your neighbor would like to invite you over for coffee. So my wife and I go next door. We walk the 7 steps,
yes,
right, to the next house for coffee. We share a wall.
Right.
So it's in New York City. So he invites us in. We have coffee in this, and he says, do you want a tour? We said, great.
Interesting.
He's got a really big house.
Every room you went into?
He's got, well, I'll tell you. So his house is like super big, really wide. And so he gives me a tour in the living room, big living room. And then across from it is double doors. I assume it's the dining room.
Yeah.
And he opens the doors and there's a massage table in the middle of the room.
Ooh.
And candles all around.
That's a good story.
So I ask very insightful, cutting questions. I say to him, massage table in the middle of your house? How often do you have a massage? And he says, every day. And then he gets weirdly close to me.
Ooh.
And he says, and the right kind of massage.
Ooh.
Now my wife is standing here. So she looks at me and I look at her and we say.
And we both pretend not to hear it. And then we decide to ask him, hey, can we go to the island? We'll bring our kids.
Hey, you got any jerky?
Because that's actually what happened. But here's what he says happened. This is what he says happened.
I'm sorry. We have to go.
So he claims that him and his wife both said, I'm sorry, we have to go. As soon as they saw the massage table. That was it. That was it. Okay.
And we left.
And they left.
And in the 6 or 8 steps it takes to get from his house to my house, my wife and I decided that I will never be in the room with that disgusting person ever again. Really? So I was never in the room with him socially, for business, or for even philanthropy. If that guy was there, I wasn't going because he's gross.
He's
and
gross.
so I look back at it as a gift.
Yes.
It was
He
a
gave
gift.
me a gift.
Yes.
Of avoid.
Yeah.
And so, yeah,
So
that's
he
my
was-
story. A one and absolutely done.
Right.
One and
So,
done.
I mean, that's an incredible story that you could pick up that he was a pervert.
It's gross. The guy's gross.
The guy's gross.
Yeah,
He's
genocide's golden though.
gross. The guy who lived right next door to me and would have the ex-prime minister of Israel at his house all the time. Bill Clinton would be at his house all the time. Hillary Clinton would be at all kinds of very powerful people. He's this girl. Of course,
Jimmy, can I tell you something?
Yes.
As a guy living in New York for many years, I can tell you no one has more morals and ethics than a Wall Street Jewish guy.
I don't know what Jew says, but here we go.
Right with my wife. And like, he's gross. The guy's gross. This was not, the deep nuance of Howard Lutnick. This guy's gross.
Right. So how come Bill Gates and all these other people could hang around him and not see what you saw? Or did they see it and ignore it? Or
no, they participated.
They participated.
That's what his MO was. Get a massage, get a massage. And what happened in that massage room, I assume, was on video. This guy was the greatest blackmailer ever.
Ever.
Blackmailed people. That's how he had money.
But just to let you know, they said there wasn't a blackmail. So Cash Patel, Pam Bondi, they all said there was no blackmail ring. He just says there was, and he was the greatest blackmailer in history. So that's the Secretary of Commerce, who's actually Trump's handler, telling you that there was a blackmail. But then you go to Cash Patel, Dan Bongino, Pam Bondi, and they all say there was no ring. There was no blackmail ring. It's all made up.
By the way, these programmer types that are high up like this sack of shit, they only are good at programming. They like this imbecile talking to him. She's easily programmable. You can hear in her voice that he's got her 100%.
So
what happened to those videos? Why is there now such a dearth of information when, Donald Trump's people are running the FBI and the DOJ?
I assume way back when they traded those videos in exchange for him getting that 18-month sentence, which allowed him to have visits and be out of jail. I mean, he's a serial sex offender.
What they do with him?
18 months and be able to go to his office during the day and have visitors and stuff. It must have been a trade. So my assumption, I have no knowledge.
You're in government.
It was a trade for the videos because there were people on those videos.
And have you talked to Donald Trump about this and shared your theory?
No, I mean, he knows the story.
No, why would I?
But my story, that, I was one and done with the guy.
Yeah, one and done.
But that's it.
He would have been interested in that story.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's a story. It's just a one and done, that guy.
One and done. One and done. One and done. So
that was what Michael Tracy calls a plausible alibi.
That's what Michael Tracy calls plausible alibi. Yes. So this is he said 2005, him and his wife went there and they immediately left, said, we got to go. And they decided they would never talk to him because that guy's a scumbag. He's gross. Remember that?
Yeah.
Well, this is 7 years later. On the 20th of November, 2012. Hello, Mr. Lutnick. Jeffrey Epstein understands you will be down in St. Thomas some over the holidays. Jeffrey requested I please pass along some phone numbers to you so the two of you can possibly get together. Any numbers you wanted to pass along to Jeffrey would be great as well. And there's Jeffrey's cell. Jeffrey's office on St. Thomas is FTC. Daphne and Anna are the contacts and are also CC'd here. So that was two. That's to Lutnick. Lutnick actually responds. Did he say, get out of here, that guy's gross? No. Like Norman Finkelstein said and Joe Rogan said. Did he do that? Did he say, no, right, that guy's gross and I'm not going? Oh, here's what Lutnick actually said. Hi, Jeff. We are landing in St. Thomas early Saturday. So this is now a month later. So that was the invitation was November 20th. This is December 19th. We are landing in St. Thomas early Saturday afternoon and planning to head over to St. Bart's, Anguilla on Monday at some point. Where are you located? What is the exact location for my captain? Does Sunday evening for dinner sound good? I have another couple, Michael and Marcy Lehman, and they're with me on the boat, and each of us has 4 children, 2 16-year-olds, 2 14s, a 13, a 12, 11, and a 7-year-old. Thanks, Howard. That's 7 years later.
Hey, Howie, it's me, Howie.
And then, yeah, come Saturday or Sunday for lunch. Little St. James is on the map. It's behind Christmas Cove. That was the response. Yeah, come Saturday, come Sunday. And it's called Little St. James on the map. Tell your captain. That's what he's telling him. That's where it is. Tell your captain. It's Little St. James. It's right behind Christmas Cove.
Who's his captain?
I don't know. And then Lutnick responds, okay, lunch on Sunday. See you then. This is 7 years left. One and done. The guy was gross.
So I brought my kids around and my wife.
So I brought another
my friend's
family.
Kids.
Yeah.
Of course we want him to have our kids exposed to him immediately.
Did they still have 4 children and they left? That's my question.
Can we check into that, please?
He just said it a moment ago that he thought the guy was disgusting. Then again, maybe he didn't mean it. It was a bad thing to be gross and disgusting. Maybe that's it. He was gross. You know, thank God I found another gross guy.
Who are these like pious finance people that supposedly exist that I'm supposed to believe that they don't know anything about massages?
Some people love gross, disgusting things, Kurt, and a majority of them are associates of Jeffrey Epstein.
By the way, the massage table in the room is the least gross thing I've ever heard about Epstein.
Me too.
What's gross about it, asshole? How about jerky? You ever look at that one, Lutnick, you scumbag?
Not only that, but Lutnick and Epstein were in business together.
Ew.
They were in business together.
That's disgusting.
So remember he said, I never did business with him. I never did that. Never did nothing but one and done.
Oh.
He was actually in business with him.
A lie in Wall Street, fuck. Who saw that coming?
So this is from CBS News. U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick has said he had limited interactions with Jeffrey. No, he said one and done. But documents show they were in business together as recently as 2014.
Oh, maybe just one pizza together.
Lutnick and Epstein each signed on behalf of limited liability companies that agreed on December 28, 2012, to acquire stakes in a now shuttered advertising technology company called AdFin. Documents released among the so-called Epstein files show. Whoa. Okay. Well, is that a big deal? I don't know. You tell me. So Thomas Massie got a hold of this. He said, it's all one big club and you ain't in it. Epstein sponsored an event held by John Paulson. Was that the Treasury Secretary during the 2008 financial crisis? Was that who's he talking about? So there was an Epstein-sponsored and an event held by John Paulson to honor Howard Lutnick. Epstein sponsored an event that was organized to honor Lutnick. Epstein gave him $50,000 to throw this event. Epstein did. And John Paulson also appears in Epstein's Black Book. The kicker, John Paulson gave $250,000 to defeat Massie. Literally every fat cat after me is in the files. And he said, hope PR is okay. Epstein wrote to billionaire hedge fund manager John Paulson, an organizer of the dinner. Epstein declined to take a table awarded to donors of that level, writing that Lutnick could fill the seats. So here's, hey, Jeffrey, many thanks for your incredible donation in honor of Howard Lutnick. Would you like to take an ad or offer your own words of congratulations to our commemorative journal? Are you able to join us at the event on December 11th? And would you like to take a table inclusive of your generosity? Meaning, hey, thanks for giving us all this money for this party we're throwing for Lutnick. Do you want a table? And you don't have to pay for it because your donations already covers your table. And he says, so he says, thank you. And he says, $50,000 from me, but hope the PR is okay. So he didn't go. The Epstein didn't go to the party he paid for. Okay.
So Epstein wouldn't hang out with Lutnick, but Lutnick would hang out with Epstein.
But Lutnick would, yes. So, and please join Howard Lutnick for a reception with Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
What? Lock her up?
So there he is, $2,700 per person, by the way, which may sound expensive, but they probably had an all-you-can-eat pizza bar, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap when you think about what.
Grape soda. So, well, you can call Les Wexner a liar. You can call him a trafficker. You could call him a cannibal and a vampire, but at least he's loyal to his friend Jeffrey Epstein. That's all I'm saying.
You know what I like about him, Jimmy? He's loyal.
He's loyal. So here is Lutnick trying to pass himself off as some sort of whistleblower. If there were any justice, he'd be investigated personally. How'd he end up in such a position of power anyway? Well, because
he mind controls Trump.
That's right.
He mind controls him. He re-ups the programming when Trump starts to come out of it.
The most damning part isn't that he lied. It's that he constructed an entire dramatic narrative about being disgusted and fleeing, then went back to the island years later with his kids.
He barely got out of there alive, and then he was like, listen, I've got 2 14-year-olds, 2 8-year-olds, not the names of his kids.
That level
he has to tell the age of each kid.
That level of fabrication under oath should disqualify anyone from public office.
Yo,
so
if anybody's Lutnick's kid, I would love to talk to you and ask you.
So
what
here
happened.
they are. So they bring it up to him. So he's got to testify in front of Congress. And
does he giggle?
And they bring it up to him. And let's listen.
Lutnick, I think you understand the root of concern here. It's the way you described very emphatically your first encounter with him in his apartment, said you were disgusted, would never have any contact with him again. Did you, in fact, make the visit to Jeffrey Epstein's private island?
I did have lunch with him as I was on a boat going across on a family vacation. My wife was with me, as were my 4 children and nannies. I had another couple they were there as well with their children.
Hey, I don't think he realizes that saying he brought his kids with him to the Epstein Island is not the win he thinks it is. Okay.
And we had lunch on the island. That is true, for an hour, and we left with all of my children, with my nannies and my wife.
You left with all your children? Jeez. You didn't leave any behind as a gift? What a selfish pig you are.
That's why Epstein doesn't come to your things, because you don't bring a gift.
That's right. He must be an anti-Semite.
All together, we were on family vacation. We were not apart. To suggest there was anything untoward about that in 2012, I don't recall why we did it.
No, the thing that's untoward is that you made up a whole lie. That's the whole thing, that you lied about it. And you made up an elaborate story about how he was gross to you and disgusted you and how you were one and done. And now we find out that, no, you were actually at the island. You asked to go to the island. You brought your family to the island. And you were in business with him.
Well, it's a beautiful island, Jimmy. I mean.
Yeah.
But,
Mr. Secretary, again, as I said, there's...
So there he is. There he is getting called out. That's fantastic. But watch how when a reporter asks, this is what makes Lutnick so creepy. When a reporter asks him about Jeffrey Epstein, Trump, watch him standing behind, as the handler does, holding that one finger. Watch. Is that some kind of symbol, Kurt? You see how he's standing there? Is that some kind of symbol?
Oh, I actually do not know. But I'm sure it is. But I have no idea what it is, if it is. So but I'm curious now. That's a good thing to fucking...
So watch how he giggles when a reporter asks about Jeffrey Epstein scandal. Watch.
He hosting some kind of gathering of top advisors this evening to talk about how to respond to the Epstein situation.
I don't know. I could ask you that question. I don't know of it, but I...
Funny, though, when you think about it, because every moron that watches Super Bowl and they eat kids... It is funny. You can't blame him for laughing. These guys are funny. You got to give it to him.
He immediately starts laughing at the question about the senior advisors getting together to have a meeting to figure out what to do about the Epstein files. He immediately starts laughing mid-question. Like it's the funniest thing in the world. Watch this.
He's hosting some kind of gathering of top advisors this evening to talk about how to respond to the Epstein situation.
I don't know. I could ask you that question.
What is he laughing at? Why would he be laughing at that question? What's that?
He got away with it. That is. I promise
that's
you that's
Duper's
Trump's
delight.
Handler.
That's Duper's delight. That's what
he's
that
a little
is.
more than delighted. That's Duper's orgasm. It looks like.
Yeah. Look at him. Show him. Look at
so
him.
he puppet controls Trump like a fucking
Yeah, that's why he's
animal.
there. That's why he's there,
there's a bunch,
and that's why he's not getting fired over this. It's amazing that there's lots of politicians in Europe that are getting in trouble and stepping down over Epstein. Not one person in the United States. Not one of them.
It's a good way to trace the real countries. Not the ones they told you there are, but you can trace by who gets punished probably what the real factions are. Yeah.
So here, Dr. Simon Gudek says, I've been saying it for months and now painfully obvious Howard Lutnick is Donald Trump's handler. Yes, that Howard Lutnick, the guy who survived 9/11 due to his son's kindergarten day. So he didn't go to work at the Trade Towers for Cantor Fitzgerald because he said he had to go to his kid's kindergarten. Isn't it amazing? All those guys who all of a sudden had something to do special that day that they never do any other day.
Yo, plenty of Jews did die in 9/11, by the way.
That's right.
But this guy's important.
His brother did.
Yeah, no, these people are demented fucking people. The fact that 9/11 story is a big deal, Jimmy. That's why when I saw this tweet in the key, I'm like, oh, I don't know how I didn't put it together at all, but I believe in this shit and I don't believe what I believe, So the guy survived 9/11. The guy who forced an Israeli loyalty test on White House staff, the guy who just happened to be Jeffrey Epstein's neighbor. What are the odds? And I'll bet you he's above Epstein, too.
Of course. The guy who lied about cutting ties with Epstein in 2005, the guy who visited Epstein Island with his 4 kids in 2012, the guy who thinks covering for PDF files is funny. But sure, keep telling yourself that Trump is in charge.
It was already proven he's not with the Greenland thing that no one asked for except these assholes.
So it must be interesting for Trump to watch his handler come apart on TV. I mean, Trump's got decades of experience on camera. Lutnick was supposed to be hidden in the background. It's like making Lorne Michaels the host of SNL.
Trump is, when you're watching that, I promise you, Lutnick has just got done doing something very similar to, if you ever saw the movie Get Out, very similar to Trump. So Trump is locked in his own head somewhere because this has been done to him since he was a kid. You know how his dad's a piece of shit, right? Remember his brother that was hooked on drugs, and that's why Trump doesn't do drugs?
Right.
What do you think? Why do you think his brother did that? Because he's from one of them generational families. That's why.
So this guy says Lutnick also had the amazing luck to be late to the World Trade Center on 9/11. Imagine being that lucky.
I mean,
and then he pocketed tens of millions of dollars meant for the children and family members of his late co-workers. Even his own brother was sacrificed in the tower. Lutnick is next level.
That's a good way to put it. That guy is real high up, dude, in the thing. That's a good way to put it.
And so this was in the files. Howard Lutnick ran everything, and he maintained a very small circle. Lutnick instructed all of the fraud being committed. He used philanthropy as a smokescreen for illegal activity. Cantor Fitzgerald was not doing well pre-9/11. After the events of September 11th, Cantor Fitzgerald was doing well. Cantor Fitzgerald couldn't afford people's salaries and then was able to hire people and give people opportunities.
Yeah, well, Jimmy, just in my opinion, let me just claim all the things I think. You should look up Gail Pooley, because I think that's who was doing shit to Jordan Peterson. As soon as I found out that a person who, in my opinion, is one of the lowest sexist shit that ever walked the earth, Gail Pooley, he's a fucking Mormon who talks about superabundance. Here's how far right he is. He talks about superabundance. And that motherfucker is named in J.R. Sweet's book about MK Monarch mind control. And the things that Gail Pooley did in that book are so foul. Get J.R. Sweet's book. He tells you about a lot of people. DiCaprio, a bunch of famous people. I didn't believe the shit I read it when I read it 3 years ago, and now I'm seeing it come true, and it's all true.
And if you want to hear my jokes about this, come see me in Lansing, Milwaukee, Albuquerque, Houston, Dallas, Salt Lake City, and Las Vegas. Go to jimmydore.com for tickets. If you go anywhere else, they're going to charge you more. I think we got to go to Rumble now, right?
Okay, hold on. Let me just do something here.
So we're going to hop to Rumble. We're going to have our guest in about a half hour, and everything's looking good.
All right, let me do this. All right, I got that, and it will be pinned.
All right.
We're all good. See you at Rumble.
We'll see you at Rumble. What's that?